Welcome to another deep dive today. We're going deep on some big questions, some really big questions about the nature of reality and the path to liberation.
Sounds fascinating.
It is. We'll be exploring excerpts from Faith Book 3.
Okay.
It's written by Shri Suresh,
All right.
who is a disciple of Shri Raghavendra Rao Sahib.
Oh, wow.
But before we jump in, there's this disclaimer at the beginning of the book, and I think it really sets the tone.
Okay.
It says, "Cleanse your manas with practice of sadhana, and then go through literature. Otherwise, reality will be lost upon you."
That's powerful. It almost sounds like we need to prepare to even approach this.
Yeah, it's not just about, reading it, but really like engaging with it,
Yeah.
thinking about it. What does it mean?
Yeah, and how do we even start to engage with this material?
So Faith Book 3 is actually a continuation of the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha. Have you heard of it?
Oh, of course. The Yoga Vāsiṣṭha. It's an ancient text.
Yeah.
It really explores a lot of philosophical and spiritual concepts.
And it's a dialogue between the sage Vāsiṣṭha and Prince Rama.
I see.
And the excerpts that we're looking at are all about Rama's quest to understand, like, what is reality? What is liberation? All those big questions.
Yeah.
And there are stories, metaphors, all kinds of things that bring these concepts to life.
I think that's what I love so much about these, ancient texts.
Yeah.
They use all these, stories and metaphors. It really helps to understand some of these really complex ideas.
Right, exactly. And the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha is like a masterclass in that.
Wow.
In fact, it opens with this story about Shukadeva, the son of the sage Vyasa.
Oh, yeah, Shukadeva. Wasn't he enlightened at a very young age?
Right, like a prodigy.
Right.
He was said to have this intuitive understanding of, like, the world's illusory nature.
Oh,
But here's the interesting part.
okay.
He still sought confirmation from his father and from the enlightened king Janaka.
So even though he had that knowledge, he still wanted that validation.
He wanted to make sure.
It makes you think, even when we have some intuition about something, we still look for guidance sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. We want those external voices to confirm.
Yeah, like you're on the right path.
Exactly. And so after Shukadeva gets that validation, we dive into Vāsiṣṭha's explanation of creation.
Okay, I'm ready.
And this is where it gets interesting, right?
Right.
He talks about these repeated cycles of creation and destruction, and the mind as the creator of reality. And then this idea that we're reborn according to our desires, like it's this dance.
Wow, these are some big concepts to try to understand.
Where do we even begin?
Right. I mean, where do we even start?
Well, I think the mind as the creator of reality, that's kind of a key point.
Yeah. It's like we're not just watching, we're participating in creating the world.
Right, exactly. And it ties into the concept of Maya,
Maya.
the illusion that kind of binds us to the cycle of birth and death.
I see, yeah. Like we're attached to the material world.
Yes, our desires, they trap us in this cycle.
So then how do we escape? How do we break free?
So Vāsiṣṭha uses these really interesting images. Like he compares the world to a stool.
A stool?
Yeah, made of plantain leaves.
Oh, okay.
And a magic show. And even like a phantom city.
Like in a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it seems real, but then it disappears. It makes you wonder about our world.
Right, exactly. And seeing through that, that's a key step. That's a crucial step toward liberation.
So if we realize that the world is impermanent, we start to break free. But what about our actions then? Do we have free will, or is it fate?
That's a great question.
I mean, are we just along for the ride, or?
That's something that Rama asks Vāsiṣṭha directly.
Oh, I see.
Is it all preordained, or do our efforts matter?
The classic debate, free will or determinism.
And Vāsiṣṭha is very clear. He believes that our actions, our efforts, they shape our reality.
So we can overcome our karma.
He actually says that.
Right.
With effort, we can change.
So it's not just about accepting what happens, but actively working to change things.
Right, exactly. And it's connected to karma yoga.
Karma yoga.
The path of action, detached from results.
I see. So we put in the effort, but we don't get attached to the outcome.
Right. And it's not just individual effort. The text even says that events that seem fated, they're influenced by lots of factors, like the collective will of people.
Oh, wow. So we're all contributing, even if we don't realize it.
Right. We're all part of this, all connected.
So we have this impermanent world shaped by our efforts. What else does Vāsiṣṭha say about liberation?
Well, he talks about these 4 guards to liberation. It's like they're protecting the door.
Oh, interesting. What are these guards? How do they help us?
So there's peace or equanimity, judgment or inquiry, contentment, and good company.
It sounds like these are qualities we need to develop, not something external.
Exactly. Inner strength. And he explains each one. Peace, or equanimity, it's about staying calm amidst all the ups and downs.
Right. We can't always control what happens.
The text compares it to, like, a cool drink in the desert when you really need it.
Oh, that's a good analogy. Just what you need in the heat.
Then there's judgment, or inquiry. It's about being discerning, questioning things, not just blindly accepting.
Yeah, like having a healthy skepticism, not to be negative, but to really understand.
Exactly, to seek the truth. Then we have contentment, finding that inner peace, no matter what's happening outside.
Contentment. It's often seen as complacency.
Right. But it's not about being passive. It's that inner peace.
So you can face challenges without being overwhelmed.
Exactly. And finally, good company. This one's pretty straightforward.
Surround yourself with good people.
The people you spend time with. It matters.
They can lift you up or bring you down.
The text says, being with wise and compassionate people, it really helps you grow.
I love how practical these guards are. It's not some esoteric thing.
It's like a guide to living a good life.
And the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha makes it so relatable.
It's all about the stories and metaphors.
It makes it so much easier to understand.
And it's not just theory. It's a call to action. Take these teachings and actually live them.
Embody the wisdom. Don't just think about it.
Right. And it emphasizes self-reflection. Look inward. Examine your own thoughts, your patterns.
It's saying, don't just take my word for it. Find out for yourself.
It's an invitation to a journey of self-discovery, and it gives you tools for that journey.
So we've got the world. Maybe it's more dreamlike than we think. We can shape it with our actions. And these 4 guards, what else does it say?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It compares the world to a dream.
A dream, like we're all dreaming.
Saying our waking reality might be an illusion too. Even says it's a thought projection from the universal mind.
Wow. If the world is a dream, how do we wake up then? What's beyond the dream?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha leaves us, with that question hanging.
It makes you want to keep exploring.
But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, remember that disclaimer. Cleanse your manas with practice of sadhana and then go through literature, otherwise reality will be lost upon you.
Oh, right. We need to be prepared to even approach this.
It's about more than just understanding with your mind.
You have to experience it.
Exactly. So how do we prepare? Well, the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha talks about meditation, contemplation, self-inquiry. But even beyond those specific things, it's about being open, being curious and being willing to question.
It's like approaching it with a beginner's mind, right?
Yeah, like a child. Like, wow, what's this?
Exactly. Rediscovering the world.
So we have this world that might be more of a dream than we think, and we have the power to shape it.
Through our actions, our understanding.
But what about us?
Yeah, who are we really, beyond our experiences, our identity?
That's the big question.
The ultimate question.
And the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha digs into that.
Yeah, it doesn't shy away from the big stuff.
It says our true identity isn't just our body or thoughts.
It's something deeper, more fundamental.
This is where that concept of the universal soul comes in.
Yeah, Brahman, that unifying consciousness that connects everything.
So it's like we're all connected.
Exactly. The text describes it as the underlying reality of everything, like the source of it all.
We're all just part of this one big thing.
Like waves in the ocean.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And so liberation is about realizing that connection.
Transcending our individual ego.
Merging with that universal soul.
Recognizing we're part of something bigger.
And it's not just about knowing it in your head.
You have to experience it.
The Yoga Vāsiṣṭha talks about that direct experience through contemplation and meditation.
Going beyond the mental concepts.
Feeling that connection deeply.
So as we wrap up, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha has so much to offer us even today.
It's timeless.
It helps us understand reality, the mind, the potential for liberation.
It reminds us that there's more to life than we see.
There's a deeper reality waiting to be discovered.
It's a call to wake up.
To realize our true potential.
To move beyond separation and into connection.
And anyone can do it.
If you're willing to put in the effort.
To cultivate those qualities.
To really look within.
And don't forget that disclaimer.
Cleanse your manas with practice of sadhana and then go through literature. Otherwise, reality will be lost upon you.
It's a reminder that we need to prepare ourselves.
To be open and receptive.
To create space to really let these teachings sink in.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha.
We hope you'll continue exploring these ideas.
The path to liberation is a journey, not a destination.
May you find peace, clarity, and joy along the way.